Hi. My favorite, my love. My life, my love. Oh, James, hi. Hello. Howdy, stranger. Yeah. It's so challenging because it's like, it feels like I'll be able to get back into it, and then it's like, I can't. And I was kind of like, I mean, you guys know how much I loved October of last year. I really went all out with it because October is one of my favorite months, and it really sucked not being able to do everything that I did last year. But I was like, damn it, I'm doing this murder mystery no matter what, because I love telling stories, and I'm so glad that everyone last year, as you can see, was on board for doing it again this year. Because it's really special to me, and I mean, you guys are all special to me. People who aren't even in the story, you guys are special to me too. And I'm just glad that you liked last year's, and I really hope that you enjoy this year's. And if you don't, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I hope you guys like the layout. As you can see over here, we have everybody who's going to be involved in the murder mystery. You can see Jack is included. Alive obviously means that they're alive. Well, the green. Red means they're dead. Blue means, I don't know. Where are they? They're missing. Maybe. So I figured that would be kind of a good way to help everyone keep track, or if you guys have to leave and go do something, if you come back, you can kind of see, oh, this is what's happened since then. But we have CJ, Christmas Jones in the chat if you see her. Danny, Daenerys Storm is my sister. Aaron Bun Paints. Ewok V-Dub. Jack, my dog. James is Jameis. Jen, you know it's Jen. Joe, that's me. Life smells nice. Dropping frames just add an extra layer of suspense for the spooks. Hey, if it works, it works. Michael is Mr. Dr. Fun. Aristus is Aristus. Snowman is Snowman TSM. Wood is made of wood. And Why Not is Why Not. Anyway, if y'all are ready, I shall begin. Dun dun dun! Oh yeah, and this is the book. I handmade it. I cut out the paper, and then I kind of... There's like... You can't really see it, but... There's stuff there. I don't know why I made that noise. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. But yeah. So... I wanted to make it, like, I almost didn't cut it, and, but I kind of like the idea that it's kind of like a brochure style book. Well, we're gonna start this reading, and I hope you guys enjoy. Good luck, and I would say don't die, but it's a little too late for that. Okay, let's see. Super glue? Hey, there you go. All right. A group of friends band together to get away from the cold of winter for a few weeks. They will be taking a trip on the Gondorian, a cruise ship set to tour New Zealand and Australia. This would be the Gondorian's maiden voyage. They all arrived at port a day before they were set to leave. They enjoyed a nice evening together at a close-by hotel. Oh, bye, Groki! Thanks for popping in! Happy Halloween! The Gondorian is a large cruise ship with the capability of holding over 2,000 passengers. For her first voyage, she would only be taking a little over 1,000 passengers and a little over 300 crew. To make things even better, this would be an adults-only cruise. A tale of a fateful trip. Yes. Happy Samhain. Yes. All right. The first few days of the journey to New Zealand was almost perfect. Wood and Aaron appeared to be a little seasick, but they eventually adjusted. The weather was a nice, soft, warm, and the whole group got on well with their fellow passengers. Jack even made friends with a fellow service dog, Maisie, an adorable black lab. Bow, chicka, wow, wow. Day 4 of their journey was a little bumpier. The afternoon of that day, the power had gone out completely on the ship, but it took only 10 minutes to get everything going again. Panic was minimal, thankfully. That evening was another story. Right? Love these stories. Yay! How did you know I get seasick? What? Do you really? That's hilarious. I was like, some people have to get seasick, and I was just like, I just kind of like pick names, and it was just like, this makes sense. So that's funny that you actually get seasick. Perfect. I mean, I'm sorry you get seasick, but it is interesting. There's the correlation there. All right. So that evening was another story. There was another group like theirs that had slowly started to intermingle. They seemed friendly enough at first, but were also a bit too forward. A few of the guys from the other group attempted some distasteful flirting with a few of the ladies. That didn't last long, and the rest of the ladies quickly shooed them away. This caused that group to get rowdy and loud, tossing the occasional offensive word in their direction. Eventually, the group decided to just leave. It wasn't worth getting in some sort of altercation. They were there to have fun, and that other group wasn't worth their time. The friends navigated the halls of the ship, laughing and chatting. With how late it was, there weren't any shows or anything of the sort to get into. They passed by a few fellow passengers along the way, but it seemed most of the ship was either in bed or back at the clubs and bars. There was no plan or direction. The group just wandered. And no salmonella. No! Ooh, what's this? Wood pointed towards a clearly marked no entry in front of a stairway leading down. The sign seemed handwritten and was actually taped, which was a bit strange with how neat and tidy this new ship was. CJ responded, "Probably not somewhere we should go." Joe looked around. "I mean, what else are we going to do tonight?" Danny pointed out the obvious. "Your wheelchair, though." "Well, if someone can carry it, I can cane my way down and then get back into it. I doubt the stairway is infinite," Joe responded. Why not added, "Hey, I mean, if Joe is going to go, we have to all go." Life nodded in agreement. "Hell yeah, let's do it." Everyone else piped up in agreement for the most part. No one was a fan of getting in trouble, but really, what was the worst that could happen? Might as well have fun and explore. The stairway was dimly lit, and fortunately, only 6 short flights. When they reached the last one, there was a door that had been propped open with the champagne bottle. "Okay, what's going on here?" asked Aaron. "Right, yeah, this is a little too convenient," Aristus responded. Ewok picked up the bottle while keeping one hand holding the door open. There is a note on it. The group asked him to read it. It says, "Welcome to a night of fun and games, friends. You've made it to your first quest. Share a drink. Once you're done, go to the bottom of the ramp to find your next quest." "Ooh, I like quests," clapped Jen. Snowman was a bit more cautious. "Okay, this is too strange. Is it one of us doing this, or are we being tricked here? Better not be those hooligans from earlier." "It has to be one of us. What are the odds of us, first of all, coming down here, but secondly, even this particular stairway?" responded Michael. Pog, she's not lying. James agreed. "I think it's safe to say it's one of us." "There could be 2 imposters, though," Wood sarcastically suggested while wiggling his eyebrows. "Among us, but minus the aliens and murder, please," Joe added while pointing to everyone in the group. Those damn hooligans. The group of friends laughed and proceeded to pass around the champagne. When finished, they went through the door and down the ramp. The way down was also dimly lit, and the hallway seemed to echo with the sound of their steps and the patter of Jack's paws. Sus Wood. Okay, so before we continue, based on the information that you have received, If you want to toss out your suspicions, as CJ just did, go ahead and drop your suspicions. Let's see what you think. I'll give it 1 minute. Out of curiosity, I want to see what y'all are who y'all are suspicious of. Who is sus to you? While we do that, I'm gonna have a drink of water. Sus Jack. Nice, okay. Sus Joe, okay. Everyone is sus. Handwriting, you're right. Hey, you never know. You never know. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. All right. And if you guys, if y'all want to suss people while we keep reading along, it'd be kind of interesting to see like what I say and what makes you suspicious of somebody. If y'all want to do that, sus, why not? He is always sus. Yes, always. He's always sussing everybody when we play Among Us. It's just like, for no reason, you're sus, and it's just like, dang it, why not? I did nothing. Waggly eyebrows, Avi. Cool, yeah. Okay, so, let's continue. The next morning, the group of friends awoke to an odd silence. They appeared to all be piled up in the room for James, Wood, Orestes, and Ewok, from the looks of the luggage. Cards Against Humanity were strewn about the floor. They couldn't hear any crew or other passengers teeming about. "Has anyone seen Aaron?" asked CJ as he stretched up from the chair she was occupying. Joe looked up from the floor and examined the room. "No, and it looks like Danny, Wood, and Why Not aren't here either." All right. Things have changed. Got unknowns. James rubbed the sleep out of his eyes. "I don't even remember getting to the room, to be honest." "Same," Life nodded. "All I remember is we were about to start hide and seek, then waking up." "I vaguely remember stumbling up here," Orestes piped up, "but I couldn't tell you what time that was exactly." Michael stood up from the floor next to Joe and pat his belly. "Well, maybe they went down for breakfast already. I know I'm hungry." Snowman tapped his phone. "If they're even still serving breakfast, my phone is dead. No clue what time it is." Jen looked over at the clock from the bed she was on. "The lights are just flashing. They must have lost power again?" Life shrugged. "Most likely. It must have just happened. They got it back real quick last time." Jack whimpered and nuzzled into Joe. Joe pat Jack's head. Okay. No matter what time it is, it's time to let this guy out." At the word "out," Jack got super excited and leapt around towards the door. This caused the group to laugh at his excitement. Now y'all know what I deal with every day. Michael helped Joe up from the floor and into her wheelchair. The group then all piled out into the hallway. The hallway was empty, but the lights were all on. As they walked, they noticed the hallway clock was also flashing. "Hopefully everything is okay," Snowman sighed. "Maybe they made an announcement earlier to have everyone gather somewhere, especially with the power being out," James suggested. When the group reached the outside deck, they noticed the ship was completely surrounded by fog and was entirely still. Even the water seemed quiet. "Well, this isn't ominous at all," said Ewok. "It is beautiful, though," responded Joe. Without a word, the group huddled closer together as they moved onward. No one crossed their path as they continued along the outer deck. "All you suspects, hey, Doe, how are you? Happy Halloween." I'm continuing. Bop, bop, bop. When they reached the main banquet hall, they noticed the tables had been folded to the side and all the chairs had been arranged for an assembly. The only thing missing was the people. On the floor, there were blank pamphlets scattered about. It appeared to be the only thing disheveled about the scene. All right, this is the most elaborate prank I've ever seen in my life, Jen said. No! Do you think the ship docked and dropped off a bunch of people in the middle of the night and then drifted off to sea by accident? Asked Michael. Is it even possible for a ship this big to just drift off? Responded Snowman. Stranger things have happened, said Life. Does anyone else remember last night at all? Asked Joe. Everyone sounded off various forms of no. I think we need to retrace our steps. You guys remember the quest paper thing at least, right? Said Orestes. Oh, I'm going to pause a second because my frames dropped. Okay, we're good. Oh yeah, responded James. Maybe this is all part of it? I don't know. This all seems way too strange, but it is worth a shot to check out, at least until we actually run into someone, said CJ. The group was in agreement. They made their way back to the stairwell that was previously marked no entry and headed down the stairs. Well, this is odd, Joe said suddenly, taking pause in the stairwell. What is it? Asked Michael. I'm honestly not sure what to think. It doesn't hurt as I'm walking. Wait, really? Asked Snowman. Yeah. I wonder if we had weed or something last night and maybe some of its effects haven't worn off yet, responded Joe. Maybe that's why we can't remember anything, suggested Orestes. It definitely makes me want to figure out what all happened. This is amazing, Joe said excitedly. The group's spirits were lifted. While mystery still hung heavily in the air, a little bit of positivity gave them the motivation they needed. They reached the bottom of the stairwell and the whole group proceeded on foot, leaving Joe's wheelchair behind. Well, there's the champagne bottle, Life pointed out. It was still in front of the now closed door they went through the night before. Let's hope it's unlocked, Michael said as he reached for the handle. The whole group seemed to hold their breath in anticipation. It opened. Hell yeah, doing weeds! Typical. Whew, Snowman breathed out. That's a relief. The group continued down the dimly lit hallway. This is definitely familiar. I remember this hallway, but I can't remember anything past this, Orestes said, deep in thought. The group agreed. No one seemed to remember anything else. After a few moments, the group reached the end of the hallway and another door. Taped onto it was a paper similar to the no entry one they saw earlier. The difference being that this one said, ready for quest number 2. Okay, before we open this door, who is it? Asked Jen. Who is what? Responded CJ. Who is behind all these notes and stuff? I think we've reached the point where it's not funny anymore. Everyone looked at each other. There was slight suspicion, but no one was sure either way. There weren't enough clues to accuse anyone of anything. What if it's one of the missing people, or even all of them? Asked Joe. Life nodded. It would make sense. I feel like this is too elaborate for one person to pull off. Let's keep moving. We'll get answers eventually, and trying to figure out who's responsible is taking up time, Snowman said. That mind eraser strain, yeah. Reluctantly, the group agreed to press on. James began to open the door, but stopped a quarter of the way, letting out a small gasp. What is it? Asked Ewok. James stuttered a response. There is blood. Blood? Asked Jen. A lot or a little? James turned to the group, and from the look in his eyes, it was a lot. Michael asked, Are you sure it's actual blood? It could be fake. James shrugged. See for yourself. It looks real to me. James stepped aside and pushed the door open a little more as he did to allow the group to see better. There was just enough light in the room that you could see the blood. Too much blood. It was something out of a horror film. Blood on the floor, splatters on the wall, and a few desperate handprints scattered as well. Simply put, the scene was a nightmare. Jack sniffed the ground and blood, whimpering. The group was terrified. Oh my God, Life uttered. I feel sick, CJ covered her mouth as she spoke. Orestes was visibly disgusted. Could this be from the rest of the ship? Is this what happened to everyone? Joe shook her head and frowned. I don't think so. It would be more grotesque if that were the case. I'm not an expert, though. Snowman nodded in agreement. There is no way it would be enough, but there could be more elsewhere. Sus eyes. Are you suggesting we keep going down there? James asked. People could be hurt and need help, Michael stated. Jen agreed. He's right. We don't know what happened with the rest of the people on the ship. What if someone is holding people hostage? Orestes asked. The group paused in thought. Joe spoke first. It would explain a lot. We need to proceed carefully and look for anything we can to defend ourselves. The group heard a smashing of glass and turned around. Will this work? Life asked as she stood before the group, surrounded by glass while holding a fireman's axe. Orestes proudly nodded. I think so. It's definitely a start, Jen added. Let's keep a lookout for anything else we could use along the way, Ewok said. The group pressed on deeper into the depths of the ship. As they did, the hallways got shorter and narrower. The ship seemed louder as it creaked and groaned. It was clear they were getting closer to what made the ship tick. There were also traces of blood along the way, but nothing drastic or clear enough to indicate how it had got there. They reached another door. This one looked extremely heavy and required you to spin it open. There was also blood on it. I guess we're going in the right direction, Ewok said plainly. Some of the group sighed. While Ewok was correct, right felt wrong in a sense. I might sneeze. No, I'm good. Okay. All right, I'm not opening this one, James said. Jen responded, That's fair. Maybe one of us open and Life stand close by just in case? Life agreed. I'm ready. She stepped closer to the door. I'll open it. Michael stepped up and started to turn the wheel of the door. It was tough at first, but then began to spin easily. He proceeded to slowly push it open. The lighting in the next room was enough to make out various pipes and dials. What they were for, no one could say. As the group took in the room, they noticed a figure slumped on the ground with their hands tied above their head. Why not? Michael questioned as he quickly rushed next to him. Is he alive? Joe asked. The group quietly got closer to see as Michael checked for a pulse and held his ear near Why Not's face to listen for a breath. It felt like a century had passed before the group got an answer. Then, the group heard a breath escape Why Not's lips as his chest dipped and rose. Dun dun dun! We found Why Not! Boop! Michael looked back at all of us, relieved. He's alive. Can you hear us? CJ asked Why Not. Silence. I think he's unconscious, James pointed out. Judging from his cuts, he may have lost a lot of blood. Now that Why Not was determined to be alive, the group took in the state of him. He has a few cuts and bruises as well as a gash on his forehead. Let's untie him, Ewok suggested, as he went through the group to get to the rope. No, Why Not? Don't die on me, brother! Wait, Orestes said. Wait for what? Orestes put his hand to his chin. What if he's the one responsible for everything? No way, Michael spoke defensively. Are you serious? Just look at him. If he was responsible, who would have tied him up like this? Asked Joe. And also, why would they leave him unguarded? Orestes nodded. Valid. I still think we should be careful and not untie him just yet. Look at the way Jack is acting. Jack's hackles were raised as he sniffed and inspected Why Not. He didn't act aggressively towards him, but there was something not quite right. The group went back and forth a moment, trying to figure out what was the best thing to do. They agreed to leave him tied up until he woke up. We can't just leave him here, though, Life said. All right, well, maybe two of us stay behind with him and the rest press onward. Maybe we can find Aaron, Wood, and Danny, suggested James. Okay, I'll stay here then, said Michael as he sat down on the ground near Why Not. I'll stay as well, Jen offered. That works. Let's hurry, Ewok pressed. Who knows how bad of a state everyone else is in if they're down here. The rest of the group moved on, leaving Michael, Jen, and Wynot behind. However, they didn't go very far to find the next person. Danny? Joe gasped. Joe's word was loud enough to be heard by Jen and Michael, even though they were out of sight. You found Danny? Jen called out. Hold on, we're checking, Snowman hollered in response. Joe and Snowman dropped down by Danny. She was bound up in a similar fashion as Wynot and covered in bruises and scratches. Before they could check her pulse, her eyes shot open. Danny! Hold on. We got a next step. Boop. Danny has been found. Before they could check her pulse, her eyes shot open. Danny, Joe said excitedly as she hugged her sister. Danny didn't speak. Her eyes darted back and forth between the different members of the group, and she started to breathe quickly. It's okay, Danny, we're here. Deep breaths, it's gonna be okay, Snowman reassured her. Joe went to untie Danny's ropes. Wait, we're untying her? Orestes asked. Joe glared back at Orestes, and he held up his hands defensively. All right, but if I get stabbed, it's your fault. Joe shook her head and finished untying Danny. What happened? Asked Life. Danny still seemed to be in shock, and she grabbed Joe's hand, squeezing it. Ewok piped up. We can't remember anything from last night. That comment grabbed Danny's attention, and she looked up at Ewok. Last night? James said, Yes. We all woke up in the same room together and can't remember anything. Danny looked towards the group as she spoke. I've been down here a week, I think. A week? Snowman asked. Danny nodded. How is that even possible? Asked Joe. I don't know. Someone has been bringing me water and pieces of bread. I don't know who. They don't speak and are totally covered up when they approach. Have you seen any of the crew? Life asked. No. The crew? Everyone? I think they're gone. Danny responded. Like dead gone? James asked. Danny hesitated in her response. We're not at port, are we? No, I don't think so anyway. We looked at the outer deck and seemed to be stalled out or something. All the clocks are just flashing, said CJ. I like her response, Life. What? Dun dun dun. Danny looked really concerned at this point. Where is everyone? Life asked. Life? Asked, rephrasing her previous question. All I know is that we had to make an emergency stop at port. Everyone, including the crew, was to be put into hotels, and everyone would be questioned, Danny answered. How do you know this? Question about what? Snowman asked. There is an intercom announcement, and that's all that it said. I could hear the ship reach the port, and it got less noisy down here, except that not long after, the ship roared up again. Based on what you said, it seems like someone took over the ship, Danny said. I'm guessing it's whoever has been keeping me alive. The group paused to think over everything Danny had said. Jack curled up next to Danny, and she hugged him close. Guys, Michael called out. The group had forgotten to update Michael and Jen. She's okay, Joe responded and then smiled as she placed her hand on Danny's shoulder. Danny's okay. Danny solemnly smiled back. Let's try to find the others, James said. I'll go catch the others up on the new details, Orestes said. Are you good to walk? Do you want to stay behind with the others? Snowman asked Danny. Danny stood up slowly, shaking as she did. I probably should stay behind. Orestes offered up his arm for Danny to lean on, and she took it carefully. The two made their way back as the rest of the group continued. We should have asked her more questions, especially like how we don't remember anything and the fact a whole week has passed, Ewok said. I know, but she is clearly in shock, and I don't want to push her too much. The others may be able to fill us in on the other details, Joe responded. The group moved on quietly and deeper into the ship. At this point, they were out of earshot of the rest of the group. They reached another heavy door. It was, yet again, smeared with blood across the handle. Life positioned herself on one side of the door. "Ready when you are," she then gestured to Snowman. He gulped and then began to spin open the door. On the other side of the door, the room had tall ceilings and was filled with large crates. Ewok stepped through the door first. This must be where they store all of the food and supplies. The group followed Ewok and began to look around the room itself. The room itself was probably the square footage of a large house, but more boxy and, filled with crates instead of rooms. "Danny is a bit sussy, dun dun dun." "Look there." Joe pointed off towards the end of the room and near another heavy door. There was a blood trail that led past some boxes and out of sight. The group cautiously proceeded forward and hyper-focused on the blood trail. Meanwhile, Jack inspected a row of longer boxes. James peeked around the crates first. Life right behind him with her trusty axe. "It's Wood and Aaron," James said happily as he rushed quickly towards them, the group not far behind. As they came into view, Wood and Aaron appeared to be bound, but this time the ropes behind their backs. They had cuts and bruises as well, just not as severe. Both of them were unconscious, but they were alive. Boop. "We found the rest of them." "We should send for the others. Plus, it would be nice to get some food, and one of these crates should have some stuff we don't have to cook," Snowman suggested. "Happy bee." "Great idea. I can go," Joe responded. "I'll go too," Ewok said, as both he and Joe headed back to get others. Someone forgot the safe word. No! Wood! No! Whoops. It's fun. Oh gosh. "I'll go too," Ewok said as both he and Joe headed back to get the others. "Should we untie them?" James asked. "At this point, might as well. I doubt they'll be bringing Why Not back here all tied up." CJ responded as both she and James began to untie the pair. "I think it's both. Gabagoo." Life started to look at some close-by crates and managed to find one that had "dry foods" printed on its side. There wasn't any latch, so she cracked it open with her axe. Crackers, oatmeal, loaves of bread, and flour. There was also a row of various jelly and peanut butter packets. "I don't know how that counts as dry, but I'll take it," Live said to Snowman as he walked up to see what she had found. "Definitely better than nothing. I don't think I've got the energy to go all the way to the top of the ship right now," Snowman stated as he reached into the crate to pull out some of the bread, jelly packets, and peanut butter packets. "Peanut butter jelly time?" Life asked. "Yep," Snowman nodded. Jack pattered over at the sound of food noises. "Joe left him behind?" James asked, peering around the corner to see what the food situation was. "Guess so." Life shrugged as she helped Snowman prep sandwiches for everyone. She cracked open a peanut butter packet for Jack to snack on. "I'm sure your mama won't mind." Classic Life, yes. By the time they had finished making the sandwiches, the rest of their group had made it back. Why Not was no longer unconscious, but seemed quieter than his usual self. Better. Yeah, don't we all? Don't we all? I certainly do. "Hey guys," Jen said as they got closer. "Those look tasty," she gestured to the sandwiches. "We made enough for everyone," smiled Snowman as he offered one up to Jen. The group sat down close to each other except for still unconscious Wood and Aaron. "Did you untie them?" Aristus asked. "Yes," CJ responded. "They're knocked out, and we've still got more questions than answers." "Do we know anything else now?" Snowman asked as he looked towards Why Not. Why Not looked towards Danny before responding, her eyes almost pleading in response. Ewok took note of that. What's the deal? What aren't you telling us? Before anyone could respond, Jen interjected. I can't taste my sandwich. No one else had eaten yet. Aristus took a bite out of his. I can't taste mine either. Joe and Michael took a bite out of their sandwiches and then looked at each other, shaking their heads. Danny took a bite out of her sandwich. I can taste it. Grape jelly, right? Snowman nodded. It's either that or blueberry. Those are the only two I used. One by one, everyone else took bites of their sandwiches. Wynot was the only other person to be able to taste his. They had the Rotas. No! Maybe there was something really gnarly in the champagne. Memory loss, can't taste. The one upside is less pain. Life started to suggest. Cruise ship with no taste. Oh no. Well, Danny and Wynot also had some of the champagne and they aren't having those symptoms, Joe stated. Maybe they drink less of it or something, James said. Or maybe a new voice, but familiar voice, jumped in. You're all dead. The group turned around to see Wood standing next to them. Everyone was pretty shocked, but James spoke up. Pretty sure we're very much alive. Well, I guess I should say most of you are dead. Wood rephrased as he started to walk around the outside of the group. The group mumbled amongst themselves. Maybe you should sit down and eat something. You aren't thinking clearly, Michael said as he stood up and offered Wood a sandwich. A ship crew member laced the water with LSD. See, I object. Aristus crossed his arms. He's not thinking clearly, or he is the one behind everything, just trying to trick us even more. The group started to all slowly stand up, causing Wood to be defensive. Eat the sandwich, Wood. One of us. Wood was a crew member. Lol. Wood slightly raised his hands in the air. All right. Don't get it twisted. I shouldn't be making jokes. There is something I have to show you. The group was apprehensive. Show us what? Joe asked. Please, don't show them, Danny begged as Wynot put his arm around her in comfort. Show us what? Life demanded, concern in her voice. You passed it as you walked in. Pulls out more weed. Wood pointed. Go look over there. The group went over to where Wood had pointed, and he followed close behind. It was the long boxes Jack had inspected earlier. This? Asked Snowman. Open one of them, Wood suggested, a smirk on his face. I don't like this at all. CJ shook her head. Michael proceeded to open the first box. It wasn't latched or nailed shut. The lid slid up and over quite easily. He looked from the box to Ewok and back again a few times. What's in the box? Ewok walked over to see. Ewok walked. I didn't even think about that when I wrote it. Ewok walked. Sorry. Ewok walked over to see. What is... His hand reached up to his face in shock. The group gathered to look. Inside the box was Ewok. How is this possible? Life asked. Is this some sort of a mannequin? Can you do the walk? Yeah. Ewok thought a moment and then turned to Wood. Yeah, aren't you, into this sort of thing? Let me guess, you've got a dummy for each of us in the rest of the boxes. Wood appeared to be in disbelief. You really think that? It's the most obvious thing. Duh. Sending us on a quest, setting up all these clues, Life responded. You really outdid yourself, Wood, Michael added as he closed the box. Had me there for a second. Joe turned to Danny and Wynot. Are you guys in on the prank? They looked at each other, their faces solemn. No, Danny responded. Aristus clapped his hands. All right, you guys can stop joking. Quest complete. Wynot spoke. We're not joking, man. The jig is up. It really is okay. I had no idea what to think, honestly. Jen shrugged. Danny snapped. We saw you die. The group got quiet. Danny looked up, her eyes going from one person to the next. It was the second quest. The card read, there is a special prize for you to peek, but first you must play hide and seek. Before we could even start, the lights went out. Why Not spoke softly, then screaming. Everyone was dropping all around us, their screams cutting out as they did. It was so dark, but we could feel bodies. Danny continued. I was so panicked. Something hit me and I fell to the floor. It was so dark, but I could see the outlines of someone next to me, not moving, and then I passed out. I was also on the ground, added Why Not, but I remember someone whispering in my ear before being knocked out. I couldn't understand the words. It sounded foreign. Foreign? Danny asked. I don't know. It really could have been anything. Why Not shrugged. Well, we can't be dead. We're standing right here, James proclaimed. You said yourself it was dark, and who knows what was in that champagne. The group started to argue amongst themselves, mostly out of frustration because no one seemed to be admitting the truth, and Trust was wearing thin. Pausing a second, my frames just dropped. Okay. And Trust was wearing thin. Enough, Wood shouted, causing the group to quiet down. I am not from your world. I'm here to study the phenomena of ghosts on planet Earth. We've heard tales from various sources of this paranormal activity, which is actually unique only to your planet. Audio never stopped. Yay, okay, cool. That's good to know. The group was silent, not really sure how to respond to such a statement. Wood continued. I needed a good-sized group of people and a way to isolate them. This ship was the perfect opportunity. If any of that is true, you've been an alien this whole time? Asked Jin. Well, no. I was looking for hosts prior to boarding the ship. This vessel matched my personality the most, so I felt I could blend into your group dynamics better. Alien. #alien. All right, so where is Wood? Did you hide him somewhere? Asked CJ. Oh, he is no longer of this world. And as he answered, his body from the head down to the torso split in a gruesome manner, revealing a creature unlike anything they've ever seen. Its two eyes were large in a neon purple that slightly dazzled like a galaxy. Its skin was grayish-green and seemed to be scaly without the scales. The creature's arms pulled out from within the corpse to reveal 4-fingered hands with claws. It was disturbing to see this thing half wearing Wood's body. The group stepped back, some of them screaming in horror. Overall, the group was in complete shock. The alien's mouth curled into a smile, revealing sharp teeth that were slightly blue in color. I have the personality of an alien. You bastard! A woman's voice, it was Aaron's, yelled from off to the side. The alien called out in a language the group couldn't understand, but he sounded distressed and surprised. Everyone looked to see Aaron rushing towards the alien. And before anyone could do anything, she embedded life's axe into the alien. It fell to the ground, and Aaron repeatedly swung the axe until the alien's cries and screams stopped. The group was speechless for a moment. Aaron? CJ asked as she slowly walked up to Aaron, placing a hand on her shoulder. Aaron was standing, shaking out of what looked to be anger. Aaron slowly dropped the axe to the ground and then followed suit down to her knees. Uh-oh. Oh no. The frame's dropping at It's freaking me out. That's a scary story right there. Frames dropping while you're trying to tell a story. The group gathered close together. It told me everything, Aaron uttered. It's all true. All of what he said to us? Asked Michael. Might be me, but I am losing video. Still good. Okay. Yeah, it's flickering a little bit. All of what he said to us? Asked Michael. Good now? Okay, cool. Yeah, it's kind of blipping a moment. She killed it. I killed it. I done did it all dead. Aaron turned to the group. Yes, the alien part, she gestured to the corpse, is obviously true. It told me it was studying ghosts, but that he needed to keep some of us alive. Mostly to study ghosts' interactions with the living, but also, she trailed off and held her hand to her throat. Also what? Asked Ewok. It said that after the study was over, that the rest of us would be eaten, Aaron finished. She killed it with extraordinary haste. The group all looked at each other and grimaced. Just then, the ship seemed to roar back to life. These frame drops are gonna give me a heart attack. Okay. Just then, the ship seemed to roar back to life, which caused some of the group to jump. Did he mess with the ship at all? Are we stranded out here? I don't know how to steer a boat, said James. Before saying anything, I'm sorry, it keeps going red, and I'm just so afraid that you guys are going to miss details. Ah! Let me see. Let me go to the next phase. Since now we know that Wood is dead. I almost want to stop stream and start it again. Because it's being so weird. The audio has been keeping up? Okay. Well, if it's still keeping up even with that, I'm just going to continue. Sorry about that. Before saying anything, Aaron dug into the chest of the alien and pulled out what looked like a broken sphere with a blue crystal inside. It said that it controlled the ship from within its heart. I guess that was literal. Sounds good. Okay. Why not turn to Danny? Maybe we can call for help. They're probably already out there looking for the ship. It was super foggy when we were out on the deck. Maybe it's cleared up now, Orestes wondered. Aaron stood up. Actually, that was part of the alien's cloaking of the ship. Joe was suspicious. The alien seemed to tell you a lot. Aaron responded, I think it was lonely. After everything happened in that hallway. Aaron paused sadly and looked at everyone before continuing. It was a waiting game. Waiting for your ghosts to awaken was the term it used. The alien did mention it would eat me last because of how fond his vessel, as it referenced Wood's body, was of me. When Aaron finished speaking, the room appeared to be getting colder. But only for the living. As it did, Orestes, Ewok, Life, Snowman, James, Jen, CJ, Michael, and Joe seemed to be getting a little less solid. Jack solemnly walked over, still very solid. The group was coming to the realization that they were in fact dead. James inspected his hands. It's true. We really are. He couldn't finish his sentence. Why are we fading? Asked Snowman. Could it be because we've accepted our deaths? Ewok wondered. Ooh. Michael responded. The alien probably had answers, but honestly, I don't care. Let's get to the top of the ship and get you guys out of here. Jen gestured to the living. The group made it to the outer deck of the ship. It was a little past sunrise and the sky was clear. In the distance, they could see small ships and a couple of helicopters. Do you think they're looking for us? Asked Wynot. I think so. They are headed our direction, said Aaron. The air grew colder around the group, and the dead began to fade even more. I don't think it will be long now. Life spoke softly. Danny reached for Joe's fading hand. Are you scared? Joe smiled and squeezed Danny's hand. No, I have you with me. Take good care of Jack, okay? Danny nodded and hugged Joe. Everyone, Jack sandwiched between them all, embraced in a huge group hug. Just as they did, a whispery breeze blew by, and the dead disappeared. Aaron, Danny, Wynot, and Jack gathered together, saying nothing as they watched the small ships and helicopters get closer. Tears were welled up in Wynot and Danny's eyes. For a brief moment, Aaron's eyes flashed a familiar neon purple. The end. Ta-da! Tell me your thoughts. Tell me your thoughts. Dun, dun, dun. Nice alien twist. Thank you. Thank you. Aliens went south fast. Yeah. That was so good. Thank you. I had a feeling that some of us were ghosts. Aha, okay. You're such a good Aw, thank you. Also the dead all along twist. Thank you, yes. I can't believe I'm not an alien. Butterfly kisses. I'm so glad that y'all caught on to that. And, yeah, I gave, like, certain hints along the way. So it's funny. The reason why, Aaron and Wood were, oh, love on Jack. Jack lives, okay? Jack lived this time. No one can hate me this time, okay? Aliens don't kill dogs. They don't count. So the whole seasick thing, was a slight kind of like, oh, they're aliens, they've never been on the ocean or on a boat before, which was why they were seasick, so that's why. Aliens only eat cats, okay. Alf. Jack, come here. Sit. Wait. Good boy. Okay. Ah, my hand! He's eating it! That is Alf, yeah. So yeah, there was like a few subtle hints, and then actually if you look at my face, I have a W and an E as part of my scars. But that was more of like a subtle, silly thing. It's kind of hard to see on stream, but I wanted to do like a slight hint on my face, for fun. But yeah. And then the whole, Joe obviously the Joe character doesn't know that Wood and Aaron are aliens, but her referencing Among Us and aliens was kind of a hint towards, like, a foreshadowing, essentially. The murder in aliens. That was the foreshadow. There. Yo, what? The glasses. Here. Yeah, the top, whoops, backwards for me. The top part of that is kind of, like, subtle, so... You guys got probed! I really like the alien aspect. Yay! Nice. Yay. Good. I'm so glad that you guys liked it. But yeah, the whole not remembering anything, and then also some of the hints I gave, which were a little more, I guess, abstract, was the fact that Joe's character wasn't hurting anymore, and then her disinterest in Jack when she went off to go back to the group was also a thing. Because it's not everybody knows it, but for the people who do know, is that like I need Jack. Like, that's why he's my service dog. And so I go with him everywhere. So for me to suddenly not be interested in taking him with me or getting him to follow me along is kind of like, that was a very subtle hint. So yeah. But we died. We died in that hallway. And then you guys can surmise different things on why Aaron the alien killed Wood the alien. There's different, I have my reason, but you guys can come up with your own reasons if you would like. That I kind of left more open-ended, obviously, because Why Not and Danny don't know that Aaron is an alien. It's just us, the audience, know that Aaron is an alien at the end. When Aaron probed us. Oh no! Dun dun dun! And yes, Wood, the whole alien personality thing was just a funny jab, because I thought about I feel like my personality is very alien sometimes, and so I thought about doing that to myself, but I thought it'd be funnier to do it to you. Don't forget the safe word, and it's all fun and games. Dun dun dun. I think she wanted to see what Wood would do as a ghostie. Gabagoo, gabagoo, gabagoo. Dun dun dun. So yeah, that was a lot of fun to do and to make, and I already can't wait for next year. Again. For now, good night. I love you guys. And be safe. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. That's not a lot, but be safe and take care. And I will see you guys next time. I don't know when that will be, but for now, let's go bother Why Not. Bye! Happy, happy Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween. I'm gonna get these fangs out because I am slipping up on all my words. Outed. So suspicious of herself. Oh no. Oh my goodness. Alright, these fangs are coming out, sorry. I spoke too soon. Alright, cool. Yay, I can talk normal. Maybe. I don't know. Now it feels weird that they're not in there. I don't know. I'm screwed.